This video I'm making for CTI 120 class, and what I'm going to do in this video is show you all how to install Packet Tracer on your computer. And if you've already got it, then you don't need this video, so you can just dip out now if you want. But if you do not have Packet Tracer installed, we're going to be using it for some assignments during the course of the semester, so you might want to go ahead and do this. Okay, and for the guys in the face-to-face class, we've got Packet Tracer on the computers in the classroom, but this is going to show you how to install it on your computer at home. It's not a huge program, so you shouldn't have a problem doing this. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go to Netacad. That is Cisco's learning site, www.netacad.com. Okay, now this thing's going to ask you to log into your account. You can set up an account using your school email. That actually works pretty well. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and click on this Google. I'm going to continue with Google. And okay, this is my school email. This is my personal email, so I'm just going to use that one. Okay, now I have logged into Netacad before, so it's got my user ID and password already. And what I'm going to show you guys how to do is get started with, oh gosh, let's see, getting started. Okay, so there's a lot of different things here. Some of these you can just do yourself. Some of these you have to have like a class login in order to be able to access it. But for this one, getting started with Cisco Packet Tracer, you don't have to be signed up for any kind of classes. You can just do this on your own. It is self-paced. So what we're going to do, I'm going to click on Getting Started with Cisco Packet Tracer. Click. Okay, now I already had started this course earlier, so I'm going to click on Resume, but if you're not already a student in this class, then you can just start on, Begin. And I speak English. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so what you're going to do, course outline, there's going to be, hang on, there's several different things you can choose here. Module 1, Module 2, and this is going to walk you through. I suggest going through this because it's really good information, right? But what I'm going to do for right now, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to download Cisco Packet Tracer and install it. So I'm going to look through here. Okay, download Packet Tracer. I'm going to click on that. Okay, and it says here, follow the instructions from the link below. Click. All right, and this takes you to what they call their resource hub. And right up here at the top under Learning Resources, we've got Packet Tracer. Okay, so if you've got a MacBook, then you're going to be using this one. If you're running an Ubuntu desktop, you're going to be using this one. I just happen to be using Windows on this machine, so I'm going to choose this one. Okay, Packet Tracer setup. Okay, save. Okay, now we just have to kick back and wait for this thing to download. It shouldn't take all that long. I guess the network must be busy this afternoon. Okay, so download complete. Now I'm going to just double click on this guy. Okay, and I've already got Packet Tracer installed, but what the heck? Yeah, why not? Sure. Okay, going to uninstall Packet Tracer, and now I'm going to accept their agreement. and I'm going to install it on my C drive, create a desktop shortcut, install. And it takes it a minute to do its thing. Okay, and last thing it says here, do you want to launch Cisco Packet Tracer? Sure. Okay, when it comes up, it says, would you like to run multi-user? No, I'm going to be working by myself. Okay, and Packet Tracer comes up. Now then, it says here, I'm going to click on this, keep me logged in so I don't have to hassle with this thing. And I'm going to click on this right here where it says Skills for All. Okay, and since I was already logged in, then it's loving me right now. So I'm going to just minimize this. Okay, now then, let's see if I can move this window around so that you guys can see everything. All right, well, good enough. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. This is your packet tracer screen. This is just like a big open area where you can, this is your workspace, right? Okay, so if I look down here, I've got several different things. I've got network devices, I've got endpoint devices, you know, like host devices. I've got some various components. I've got connections, and then I've got miscellaneous odds and ends, and then multi-user connection. I'm not going to mess with that right now. And if you look down here, let me move this window a little bit. There we go. Okay, so right now I'm looking at network devices, and I've got routers selected. So this is a bunch of different routers I can choose from. And then if I click on switches, okay, here's a bunch of different switches I can use. And click on this. This is hubs. There's like a 5-port hub and a repeater. We hardly ever use these. But we will use wireless devices. Sometimes we'll set up a wireless network, and usually we'll use this one right here. And then we've got some security appliances. We're not going to hassle with those right now. And then we've got WAN emulation. So sometimes what we'll need to do is put like an internet cloud that we can connect to. All right, but for right now, let's keep it simple. We're not going to hassle with any routers right this minute. If you do want to put a router in, you can click that. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to put in a switch, and we're going to connect some devices to it. Okay, so here we go. Now, we get to use some pretty high-powered hardware here. You know, let's just go ahead and use a 2960 switch. All right, now I need to hook something up to my switch. So what I'm going to do is go over here and click on my end devices. Okay, now my end devices. I can use PCs, laptop. I can put a web server in if I want to. Several different things. I can put in a printer, VoIP phones. But we don't need to hassle with any of that right this minute. We're just going to grab some PCs. Okay, PC1, PC2, PC3. Okay, now I've got my PCs here, but they can't really talk to this switch. So I need some connections. I'm going to click on this lightning bolt. Now what you can do is you can click on this lightning bolt like if you're just like trying to do something quick and dirty. And what it'll do is it'll connect the best interface on this device to the best interface available on this device, right? So typically what this will do is it'll connect your fast Ethernet to an Ethernet port here, fast Ethernet port. And this one's probably going to be Ethernet port number 1. Yep, sure enough. And if you hover your mouse over this line, then it'll show you which ports you're plugged into at each end of the interface. Now, if you want to take the guesswork out of it and make sure you're connected to the right port, then you can click on this solid line here. This is a straight through Ethernet cable. And click on your PC, and we're going to hook it up to our fast Ethernet port. And then on the switch, we're going to connect it. We can connect it to any port we want to. Some exercises will tell you to connect it specifically to port number 5, but for right now, we're just going to connect to fast Ethernet 2. And I'm going to do the same thing for PC2. Fast Ethernet to fast Ethernet. So now we have occupied, and you notice that whenever I attach to this device, it only shows me the available ports. So, you can't accidentally plug into the same port twice. Okay, now going from my switch to my router, I'm going to use a gigabit connection. Now, you can use either the straight through. Okay, so I'm going to connect gigabit 1 to the router's gigabit 0. Okay, right? That works. Let's see. I'm going to grab another router. 4321 for variety's sake. And now I'm going to go back to my connections, and I'm going to grab a crossover cable. Now, sometimes you'll need to use a crossover cable specifically. These devices have auto MDX, which means that they will automatically adjust for a crossover cable or a straight through cable, which means that you can either use the straight through or the crossover. Now, you'll notice that, okay, see how these have got green triangles? That means that those connections are up and they're running like they're supposed to, right? So if I go over here and I go to my desktop IP config, and I'm going to give this guy an address of 10.10.10.3. Okay, and I'm just going to take the default subnet mask, and then I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to give this guy a device IP of 10.10.10.34. Okay. And I'm going to name this guy IP config. Whoops. Let's see, 345. Okay, now these guys have all got IP addresses and they're all on the same 10 network. So we should be able to ping one another. So let's open up a command prompt. And we'll type in ping 10.10.10. Okay, our address is 3. Okay, we can ping ourselves. That's good. We can ping 4. And we should be able to also ping 5. Cool. Okay, these dudes can all talk, no problema. Now, right now, I don't have any IP addressing associated with my switch. I'm just going to leave that switch in, just like normal dumb switch mode. These switches, like out of the box, they are really good Ethernet switches, but they also have the capability of running VLANs, and they also have the capability of being remotely managed. And in another lab, I'll show you how to set that up. Okay, but this router here, see how I've got these red upside down triangles? That means that that line is not active. And so we're going to need to go to the router's command line interface. And we're going to need, okay, when it says, would you like to enter initial configuration? No. Because if you say yes to this, then it takes like 5 minutes to get through that. Okay, so here's my router. So what I'm going to do is enter some commands. Enable, config, terminal. Okay, now I'm in terminal configuration mode. And which port were we using? I think we were G000. Interface G0/0/0. Okay, now I'm in interface configuration mode. I'm going to give this guy an IP address. 10.10.10.1 with a mask of 255.0.0.0, which, okay, this is a Class A network, and so this is the default mask, but with Cisco equipment, you have to specifically tell it. It doesn't default like your PC does. Okay, now, see how this line is still red? That's because routers, their ports are disabled by default. So you have to issue a command to enable that port or else it won't work. No shutdown. Okay. And we just have to wait a minute because see how this is orange and this is green? That means that the switch is still negotiating this connection. And then at some point in time, we'll have two green triangles here. So like right now, if I try to ping, oh, okay, it's green now. 10.10.10.3. Okay, sending. Okay, cool, excellent. We can ping our PC, and then down here at PC2, command prompt, ping 10.10.10.1, which is our router interface. Okay, now since this is our router interface, we can go into our IP config now and see down here where it says default gateway. Well, guess what our default gateway is? 10.10.10.1. Okay, anytime we have traffic that's bound for something besides our local network, it's going to go out through this gateway. And if you don't tell your computer specifically which gateway to use, then it won't know. And if you try to access something that's outside the network, then it'll just get dropped.